Welcome to Voodoo Whiskey Gaming. This is my late review of Bound. I played it on the PS4 and, well, that's really all it's available on. So the story of Bound begins you as a pregnant woman getting out of a car and walking down the beach, and that's kind of where it leaves you at first. Then you dive into where the gameplay actually occurs and you discover what the story really is, and it's basically kind of reliving this woman's memories. And in these memories you play as the princess. And the princess is basically going through her kingdom trying to deal with these different issues. I was almost impressed by the story of this game, except for you have to piece it together yourself, and then it turns out to be a really, really short story overall. When it comes to the audio, the music isn't really intense, and I don't think it goes along with the overall of the game, because the game itself has this very, ballet dance movement system to it. So you'd kind of expect the music to be more impressive than it was. Also, there's no actual voiceover for this. I mean, any of the voiceover is this weird garbled language shit that could have been done in a computer without people actually doing it. Okay, so I picked this game up because of a trailer I saw that basically made it look like a platformer combined with a dance fighter, would be the best way to describe it. By dance fighter, I mean the combat is done through your character's dancing. Well, it's not entirely either of those. The platforming is really weak, it's not challenging, so it's not satisfying. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure why it's in the game. This game could have done what Fury did, where you literally just walk from place to place, and it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. Then there's the dance fighting thing, which isn't really fighting, it's dancing out your emotions! Which, as a guy who can't dance, I don't comprehend. I'm sure there's people out there who are all about that. Not one of them. And it didn't really help me in this game. Any of the dance fighting sequences literally just require you to hold down R2 and square or circle or triangle. It is that simple. There is no actual combat to it. It just kind of looked that way in the trailer. I will say that the dance movement system is pretty cool and unique at first, but then it just kind of plays itself out because, well, you figure out exactly what you need to do to go faster, and that's all you do the rest of the time. There are some kind of interesting moments, like when you're gliding on the ribbons. Anyone who's played the game will know exactly what I mean, and it's just kind of cool to see the world around the princess in those moments. But, again, it doesn't add enough to this. Now, the controls work for the most part. I mean, they're not the most responsive things, but they also don't need to be because, well, nothing in this game is super challenging. As for the graphics, this game is very geometrical. That's the best way I can describe it. So many things seem to be based on just geometric shapes, and they're constantly shifting and moving. And it's kind of cool. I actually liked the graphics in this game. I like the art style. I should say I like the art style specifically when you were playing as the princess, because when you're playing as the pregnant lady walking down the beach, well, that's not as pretty to look at. Those graphics I just didn't really get down on. The only thing I really got down on there was I thought it was cool her leaving her footprints in the sand, more or less, but that's about it. To wrap things up, I feel like I was lied to by the trailer because of what it sold me was definitely not what this game was. This game was definitely more of an interactive narrative. And while I generally get down on interactive narratives, this game didn't have enough story for me to just full on get down on that. And you take into account that this is a $20 game, that's way more than this game should cost. This thing took me a few hours to beat. If this was a free PlayStation Plus game, I would say, yeah, sure, why not? Go through the story, it won't take you long, it'll be an interesting experience. But if you don't go through it, you're not going to miss anything. Whereas, since it's a paid game, well, all I can say is skip it. Okay, so in the comments below, why don't you tell me if you've ever been to the ballet? Yeah, I know, that's kind of a random one, right? Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share or subscribe. Have a good one.